Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 Doors Down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 tour.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Double your chances to win all month long in March with 2 big promotions. On Fridays, embrace the madness and win a share of $150,000 in cash and free play. On Saturdays, starting March 8th, go for the gold and win your share of up to $10,000 in cash and free play in the 80K Fool's Gold giveaway. Enjoy live entertainment all month long and play for your chance to win big in March only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope if you ever find yourself at an NBA game, and I recognize you probably won't, none of us probably will, but just I hope that if you ever find yourself in an NBA game and it's your job to inbound the ball, you know, in the final seconds, 1 possession game, postseason hopes in the balance, that you understand that you only get 5 seconds to do that. If you try to use 6, they're going to blow a whistle typically and give the ball to the other team. Rough ending last night. Fun game, rough ending. We'll talk through it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, Chris Vernon going to join me. He, of course, is the host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon, Grind City Media. He lived through this last night just like the rest of us. I'll talk to him about it. He'll be with me around 10:25 or so. When I finish talking to Vernon, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Mavericks GM Nico Harrison held a press conference to discuss, among other things, his decision to trade Luka Doncic. It didn't go well. I'll tell you what he said. We'll do it in about 40 minutes. Former Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava seems to be struggling to find a new job at the salary he desires. Young man might have overplayed his hand. I'll give you the latest on that situation a little later on in the show. Country music star Casey Musgraves hopped on social media to ask a very important question. Here's the question. Can you die of horniness?
Oh.
That's what Casey Musgraves wants to know. Can you die of horniness? I'll get Bennett's thoughts on that. We'll do that in the third segment. Juan Soto has explained the difference between hitting as a Yankee last season and as a Met this season. I get what he's saying, but he probably shouldn't have said it. I'll fill you in on what he said. We'll do that in just a bit. And Roy McIlroy, sports psychologist, says that Roy's decision on Sunday to not talk to Bryson DeChambeau at all during the final round of the Masters was intentional and part of the strategy. I'll give you the quote during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carryout and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because Game 83 of the 2024-25 season, it was played last night in San Francisco. Fun game, rough ending. Drama-filled, terrible finish. Final score, Grizzlies, 116. Warriors scored 5 more than that, 121, despite trailing by as many as 20 points in the second quarter, and despite Ja Morant suffering an ankle injury in the third. The Grizzlies actually did find themselves in a 1-point game in the final minute. Then they were down just 3 with 5.1 seconds remaining. Santi Aldama inbounding. Steph Curry is harassing him. Let's watch this disaster. My God, Bennett, I was barely keeping my eyes open at this point. They're counting. You see the ref counting there? See him, you got to get the ball, and it didn't do it. Did not do it. That's a turnover. That's a turnover, and we're going to go to the other end. Final score, 121, 116.
I feel you, Tomas.
There's the interim coach. Very frustrated.
That's how I felt.
Santi talked about it after the game in the locker room. He said he thought it was a quick 5, but I think enough people have put a clock on it. It wasn't a quick 5.
No, it wasn't. It was normal.
It was a slow 5, maybe. It might have been 6. You want to see the clock right there?
Yeah.
6.02 is what we saw on social media last night. So just a mistake. I don't think all of it on Santi, though. Like, clearly, the only reason the ball can still be in his hands when that whistle is blown is if he doesn't get rid of the ball.
Yep.
So ultimately, it is on him to get rid of the ball. You've got to have an internal clock, and you got to know at some point, if I don't get this ball out of my hands, we are in a bad situation. Literally throwing this ball anywhere at this point is preferable to holding on to it. You have to know that. You have to know that.
Yep.
That's just basic 8-year-old basketball stuff. You have to know that. But I don't think it was all on him. First off, what was happening there?
Somebody got to come get the ball.
First, you had Luke in the corner early.
Yes.
Because it looked like Moses Moody didn't even really know. Like, if we could show it again, come back and look at it one more time. It looks like Moses Moody does not know if he's supposed to be going with Luke Kennard. Watch this. He even, puts his arms up should I be looking? Okay, So you've got Luke there if you want to hit that early. Okay? The actual play seems to be for Dez to be coming off these screens and catching the ball down. You had him too if you make the pass, although there's very little urgency to what Desmond Bane is doing there. All right? So nobody it looked like a situation other than what it actually was, which is your entire postseason life is at stake here for all intents and purposes. You got to get this ball in bounds. Let's go. And it didn't look like there was any real urgency to it. Luke was sort of going through the motions getting here. Dez was kind of going through the motions coming through here. And then the last, the relief valve, basically, is Ja Morant. And he goes over there to set that screen, but at any point, he could have popped off of it and just pop out here and catch the ball. And I know they're probably going to foul him quickly, but anything is better than what happened. And yet Ja was slow to release and just give Santi a relief valve to just get the ball in bounds. He ultimately tried to do that, but it was a second too late, or a second later than it is allowed by rule. So I don't know that anybody did their job well in that moment right there. But ultimately, if you're the one holding the ball, you've got to know you can't hold it that long. You just have to know that. It's a mistake.
It is. It's not the first time this season that's happened with him, but it is what it is, man.
And it just changes
everything.
Yeah. Because you go from, we talked about this yesterday, think about the feeling we could have had today. Last night carrying over into this morning. In a different world, if you don't go down 20, or you don't let Jimmy Butler go off, or you play any defense in the first half, any of these things, you get an inbounds, you get the ball in late, make a 3 to get it to overtime. There's a million different ways this could have gone differently. And if it would have, we would be sitting here right now, and here's what we would be saying to ourselves. All right, the regular season was a mess, but that was because, it was a lot of stuff. Ja only played 50 games. Vince was hurt much of the season. Gigi, it's kind of a lost year for him. Marcus Smart was moved at the deadline. We tried an offense that didn't emphasize Ja's strengths, but kind of starting to get away from that. It didn't prioritize winning games that were winnable in the fourth quarter.
Right.
You'd rather Jaren Jackson play 28 minutes and lose than play 36 and win. Like, that's a real thing that they committed to throughout the season. They were willing to lose games with Jaren Jackson playing 29 minutes as opposed to, hey, just time out for a second. You realize you could win this if you just let him play 36 tonight. You could win this game. Nah, we'll play 28 and lose. Like, that's a decision they made, and it cost them. And that will be the story of this season. No, unless they get out of the first round of the playoffs, which seems unlikely given the opponent if they even get there.
If they get there, right.
That will be the story of the season, that they de-emphasize the regular season so much that it cost them. It cost them wins early. It cost them wins in the middle. It cost them wins late. And it cost them a space in the top 6. And it led to them having to play that game on the road last night. And it will lead to them playing another game on Friday. And if they lose that, disaster. And if they win it, probably not good either, because you're about to get in a series that most people don't think you're equipped to handle, given the way you play, at least on one side of the ball, right? The approach to the regular season did all that. But think about, despite all of that, we could be sitting here right now and saying, none of it matters anymore. Here's the deal.
We're here.
We're here. And last night, Jaren played 39 minutes. Ja played 35. Des played 39. And Ja would have played more, but he had to leave the game with an ankle injury. We'll get to that in a second.
Yep. Okay.
So all that regular season stuff doesn't matter anymore. Our 3 stars are healthy. They're playing normal star minutes now, finally. And just beat the Golden State Warriors on the road to secure the 7th seed. And I know the Rockets have been better than you. And I know the Rockets will be favored. But you see what happens when you play your star minutes. You go to Golden State and you beat a Warriors team that has probably been a top 3 team in the West since the trade deadline. Like, if you were ranking Western Conference teams right now, you'd probably go Thunder, and then maybe Clippers, and then probably Warriors. Forget the seeding. That's probably how you would go. All right.
I'd throw the Lakers in there.
Maybe the Lakers as well. Mm-hmm. All right. But, like, hey, okay, you just knocked off one of those teams on the road, and one of those teams ain't the Rockets. People think right now the Warriors are better than the Rockets.
I think they'll be favored as a lower seed to win that series.
We can look it up right now. Why don't you look it up right now? So you would be coming off of a win over Golden State, heading into a series against the Rockets. There's not a single thing that would make John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane think that if they can go win a game in San Francisco on a Tuesday night, that they can't go win a series against the Houston Rockets. That's what we would be talking about right now. Instead, here's what we're talking about. Another game where you couldn't guard anybody for too much of it, go down big, fight back to get in it, but ultimately it wasn't enough. And now you have to play a game on Friday against the winner of the Kings-Mavericks play-in game. And if you lose that, your season ends at 84 games. And if you win it, congratulations, you get to play a best-of-7 series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And we'll be hopeful, because what's the point in being otherwise? But practically speaking, it feels very different. One version of our lives is coming off a win over the Warriors on the road and getting ready to play the Rockets. The other version, best case scenario, will be coming off of a loss to the Warriors, then a win over a team that probably doesn't even want to win anyway, and then a 4 or 5 or something game loss to the Thunder in the first round.
They are favored in the series, by the way.
The Warriors?
Yep.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm saying. And it doesn't mean the Grizzlies would have been favored over the Rockets.
Right.
I'm just saying if you would have beaten, just logically follow me here, you just beat the Warriors team on the road that we now know would have been favored in a series against the Rockets. So we could be sitting here right now saying, they just beat the Warriors. If you can beat the Warriors are better than the Rockets. If you can beat the Warriors, you can beat the Rockets. And if you can beat the Rockets, you're in the Western Conference semifinals. Let's go. That's where we would be right now. One more stop, one more shot. That's the conversation we're having right now. As it is, we're talking about missed opportunities. A game here on Friday that, how excited are you? Because it doesn't even feel like it's a big prize if you win it. Last night would have felt like a big prize. You beat Steph and Jimmy and Draymond and the Warriors to set up a series you think you can win. You beat the Mavericks or the Kings, who cares?
Well, no, it feels like you're avoiding disaster instead of like gaining something, right?
I know. It feels like you're setting yourself up to get smacked around on TNT 4 times. That's what your prize for winning last night would have been a series you think you can win.
Yes.
Your prize for winning on Friday is a series nobody thinks you can win. It doesn't feel like a prize. It feels like a suicide.
It's fair.
It's just the margins are so thin.
Mm-hmm.
Big picture and small. You take the regular season just a little bit more seriously. Just a little bit more seriously, you're not even in this situation. Last night, you guard just a little bit better. In the first half, you might not even be in this situation. But here we are, and John Morant's got an ankle injury. All credit to him for doing whatever he had to do last night to get back into the game and play.
And I do wonder what would have happened if he wouldn't have injured that ankle. Because, I mean, he couldn't get to the rim. When he came back in the game, he just couldn't.
I mean, he was noticeably limping. And then he went through a time period where he looked a little more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when whatever needed to kick in, kicked in.
Yep.
And then you saw it as we got into the final minutes. It seemed like it was starting to bother him again. And I'm not going to predict how it feels today or whether he'll be available on Friday night. But I can tell you that every basketball player I know who has ever sprained an ankle in that way, what they tell you is you can typically get through the night, or not typically, that's not right. You can sometimes get through the night, but the next day's harder. The next day is where you wake up and you really see where you're at. So I love that Ja returned to the game. I think he got a lot of credit for doing that in a time where he gets beat up a lot for things he might deserve sometimes and other times not so much. There were a lot of people heaping praise on him last night. A, for the way he played. He was just a highlight reel again and awesome. And, you know, like hamstrings you can't see, you know? Somebody pulls a hamstring, you can't see that. You know, so, like, you know, the groin injury, you can't see that. You just have to like, well, he said it's hurt. We can't see. We see the ankles.
Yeah.
When an ankle turns like that, you see it. You know what that's like. He got a lot of credit for returning to the game, for doing everything he did to put his team in a position to win. And after the game, he said, I'm playing on Friday. Nothing's changed. And I appreciate that. That's the right mindset. But we'll see. We'll see. Because he was clearly hobbled last night.
Yeah.
And those things don't tend to get better the next day. They tend to get worse the next day and then start to get better. That's the typical timeline for an ankle sprain. Bad, but manageable maybe. Next day worse. Now we start to get better. So we'll see. But not ideal.
No, it wasn't. You know, I thought that there was, again, like some positive things to take from the game. You know, I know Edey's getting bashed for, you know, his offense last night, but I do think that there's something there with him. I feel good about him.
You can feel good about him going forward,
yes.
But when you are that size and playing that close to the rim, with the ball in your hands that close to the rim as often as it is,
put the ball in the basket.
4 of 11 from the field is not, you can't do that.
Put the ball in the basket.
I mean, 4 of 11 from the field when you are him, like that's not.
Catch it, go up.
It's just right there.
Catch it, go up.
I mean, buddy, it's just right there.
Don't bring that thing down.
Yeah.
Just catch and go up.
I mean, you look at just on the season, he shot 58% from the field. At Purdue, over the previous 3 seasons, it was above 60% from the field. That's where those numbers need to be. When you are 7'4", 300 plus pounds, and in possession of the ball, that close to the rim, that often. I'm not trying to oversimplify this, but it really is that simple.
Yeah.
You've just got to be more effective around the rim, finishing those plays.
He can do it. We're going to get in the lab this summer.
Going to get in the lab this
We're
summer.
going to get in the lab this summer.
He'll be in the lab,
Yep.
and everything will be fine. I do think you can be encouraged by Zach Edey, given the circumstances. He's been forced into a role that I don't think he was comfortable with, and I'm not sure the franchise was comfortable with him having it. I don't believe he would have played as many minutes last night or as many minutes as he's been playing lately if Brandon Clark were available.
Agreed.
All right? So he's been sort of forced into this. And it's not perfect, But there's enough good signs there where you can still believe in it. But last night was rough.
Mm-hmm.
Last night was a rough night.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I know that we've still got a game to play and potentially a series to play. But just, when you look at last night and they obviously had to start Scotty, which I was skeptical of, but he was great. Scotty was great last night. You talked about this, like, Vince couldn't play in the game. That they've got to address the wing position in the offseason.
It seems insane that we're here because in the preseason it was like, do we have too many?
Do we have too many wings? Now we have 9.
Now you got to clean it up. Like in the preseason, it was like you got to clean it up. You can't have a LaRavia and a Vince and a Gigi and a Marcus Smart. And like, do we have too many? Now I don't have enough.
No. Or who? None right now, really, if we're being honest.
And it doesn't mean that it was nonsensical at the trade deadline to do what they did, specifically move Marcus Smart. I don't use revisionist history with these types of things. Like, it's very easy to go back and say, the Kings were stupid to spend a number 2 overall pick on Marvin Bagley or whatever, right? It's very easy to go back and do those types of things in sports or any other walk of life. I don't think that's fair assessment. Unless I was yelling about something in real time, I'm not compelled to yell about it after the fact.
I was yelling.
You were less understanding of it than I was. I understood the logic behind moving Marcus Smart at the trade deadline and every other move that was made. But we can all look at where we're at now and just say, it didn't work out.
Right.
I understood it, but if we're just looking at decisions like, if you could undo it right now, would you?
I think so.
You definitely, just to have him for
just
Friday.
To have him, yeah, absolutely.
Just to have him for Friday.
Yeah.
We went from thinking we have too many to now realizing we don't have enough. Some of that is because of trades. Some of that is because of an injury. And some of that is because 2 of the guys we thought you could rely on are wildly unreliable, and it's Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like Gigi obviously isn't playing in the games. And Vince, he comes in last night, 2 quick fouls, turnover, and it's like, well, we got to sit you.
That's a problem. Those 2 guys being ineffective is a problem. And I know Gigi had this sweet moment after the last regular season game in the locker room where he talked openly about mental health. And I love almost everything he says.
Me too.
Every time I hear him talk, I go, man, that sounds like a young man who gets it. That's an impressive young guy. Man, that's a thoughtful young person. Every time I hear him talk, I'm impressed. I don't know that his actions follow his words. That's certainly the impression you get talking to people. It's like, he says all the right things when the cameras are right in his face. As soon as the cameras go off, he ain't. That is different. That's the prevailing thought about him. He's great when he's talking to you guys. It's
not clicking right now.
It doesn't translate.
Yeah.
It doesn't I don't think they sent him to South Haven just to get him some playing time. I think there was a lesson in there, a message in there.
I agree.
Right? Like, yo, man, you're saying all the right things, but I need you to do all the right things. It's the same stuff I talk about with my kids. I don't need my son to tell me how much time he's going to spend on his homework tonight to make sure he's ready for his test tomorrow. I don't need to hear 7 sentences about how much he cares about it. Show me. Don't tell me how much you care. Show me how much you care. And there's a sentiment that he's very good at saying all the right things and less good at doing them. And then the injury, I think that that derails things. He was just he just didn't play basketball for a long time, and that can get away from you. Vince, similar. But both those guys being unreliable is a real problem.
No.
Last night and will be Friday and will be going forward if they go forward.
No, we all thought they were going to be me too. We all thought they were going to be big
I thought
contributors.
Vince could be the starting wing and Gigi could be a real rotation player on a team competing for a Western Conference title. And neither of those things is true. Vince ain't even starting, barely playing, and Gigi got a DNP. That's where we're at. Last thing, then we'll get Vernon in here. Because he and I were talking yesterday. Obviously, we were hoping that you'd win, get the 7th seed, and be headed for a best-of-7 series against the Rockets. Not there. Hypothetically, yesterday, he and I, off air, we were like, so then you get to lose tonight, then Friday, And it's like, because this is a discussion I gather people are having.
Okay.
Do you even want to win the game Friday?
Yes.
It's so clear to me. The answer is yes.
Without question. That's loser mentality.
It's like,
I ain't buying into that.
I don't want to say I don't care about a pick. Right? Like you should care about everything. If you care about a franchise, you should care about everything. But I'd rather give a pick away and take a shot than lose on Friday and keep a pick that'll probably result in a player who doesn't matter anyway. You got to get in there and give yourself a chance. I think I know how it's going to go.
Me too.
In a best-of-7 series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know what the betting markets will project. I know if ESPN asks all 10 of their writers again to predict it, we won't even have Ramona on our side this time.
Yeah.
It'll be 10 for the Thunder and 0 for the Grizzlies. Nobody will pick the Grizzlies to upset the Thunder, nor should they. All right?
Right.
If we did a Grind City media poll, I don't think any of us would pick the Grizzlies to upset the Thunder. We wouldn't have anything to base it on.
Right.
You'd just be saying something. It'd be like if I just decided to open the show tomorrow saying, I think Penny Hardaway is going to win a national championship next season. Okay, GP, explain how. I can't do it.
Right.
I can't do it, but I could say anything. Right? So if you're out there saying, I think the Grizzlies are going to beat the Thunder, you're just saying it. You don't have anything to base it on. But you get in there and you just don't know what will happen. And I don't mean you can outplay them 4 times straight up. No, that's not. No. Mm-hmm. What I mean is, how did John Moran injure his ankle last night? Just playing basketball. Mm-hmm. And came down on somebody. They just came down the wrong way. You know? That could happen to any basketball player at any time. Mm-hmm. Why do you want to win on Friday? Because you might find yourself in a series against the Oklahoma City Thunder and Chet Holmgren is suddenly unavailable.
Happened once upon a time with that same team.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is suddenly unavailable. That's all it can take to flip a series. Now with them, it might take more than just one. Like SGA being unavailable might not be enough.
Right.
They're really good, really deep. They got a lot of really good players. They're awesome. But that's why you get in there. Not because you think you can line up and beat them or that you think you're better than them. I mean, you should give yourself a chance in your head. But that's not the real reason you want to get there, because you think if we get there, we'll handle them, no problem. It's a great matchup for us. You go, if we get there, and sometimes weird things happen in basketball. Sometimes injuries happen. Often to us, but maybe to them this time.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the ball can bounce our way. We can catch a break. Probably won't. I'm not trying to lie to you. Probably won't. Probably win on Friday and then lose in 5 games to the Thunder. That's probably how this goes. But I just like a chance.
I like going to the playoffs, man. Like I will never take that for granted as a Grizzlies fan, like ever.
What you
Come
do,
on.
yeah, you try to get there, and then you talk yourself into it, and then you get excited, and then you probably end up disappointed. But you give yourself a chance. Mm-hmm. You know, I like the idea of holding a ticket, right? A Powerball ticket. I like the idea of holding one. I know we're probably going to mount to nothing. I know like the numbers are going to come out and it's not going to go my way. But man, you know, it could. It could. So let's get the ticket and hold it and see what happens.
Okay.
I'm not advising people to go out and buy lottery tickets. I'm just saying the 8th seed against the Thunder is like you're holding a ticket that's probably going to just disappoint you. But I like to hold the ticket.
Okay.
I like to hold the ticket.
Me too.
Let's see how the balls bounce. And let's hold the ticket and see if something good can happen. Not predicting it, but I'll be hopeful for it up until there's no more reason to. Chris Vernon up next.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
With a knockaway. Good defense. Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting. Woo! That's so
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
I never in a million years would have ever thought that John Cena's final run would be as a heel.
I love it.
I love it.
Once they saw this from The Rock,
They knew it. Everybody knew it except for Cody, which was so good.
Great camera work by
And then the
WWE.
kick. Yeah, I don't think WWE gets enough credit for the camera work and the production quality. I mean, it is incredible.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Bill Ford Tough Studio, and on Wednesdays in the second segment, I am joined by Chris Vernon, host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays, noon, Grind City Media. He's here right now. He's got his green sweater on. How you doing after that thing last night? If I put a
Tired,
ball, if I'm
irritable,
tired, me too.
like
both of those
everybody
things.
else in Memphis. You wake up and it's like, damn it.
Yeah. Like, I really did wake up and go, man, that sucked.
It sucked.
It's the first thing
and
that
it was
popped.
midnight.
And it was midnight. If I put a ball in your hands and said, you got 5 seconds to get this to one of these four other dudes, you think you could do it?
I don't know. Do they get 10 seconds to throw it in Finland?
Oh, man.
I'm going to try to give Isolo a pass on this. Why are we...
I mean,
at best, we're throwing a 50-foot pass over Jimmy Butler to Desmond Bain.
I mean, that's the
What
play.
are we doing?
That is the play.
That's what he said.
Yes. That's the play.
All right.
Could they have hit Luke early?
Oh, shit. He ain't shooting it anyway. I was going to say. To pump fake?
That ain't your best option.
We ain't got time for pump fakes in 5 seconds.
There's a failure for 3 different plays. I do think you can hit Luke early, but I get your point. Then the play is for Dez, but that's a hard.
Bro,
that's hard.
Throw the ball to Jaron and let him try to bank one in. He's done it twice this year.
But then Ja is sort of a release valve there. If he just pops out and gets it, and he was late to do that.
It was a disaster.
It was a disaster.
It was a disaster. I just watched that damn Houston game.
Oh my god! Yeah, saying it. That
Get a shot off.
That's the thing. That national championship game ended in such a bizarre way because
it's the worst.
It's
the worst way.
Our brains are programmed to see a ball go to the rim. You're supposed to see a shot.
Our brains are programmed to see the ball go to the... Yeah, you're right, Gary. That's the whole goal of the game.
I know, but like when you don't see that in the end of game situation, it feels ridiculous. Like, what just happened?
It is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous is the reason it feels that way, because it is.
Golly, it was the worst. I mean, because I'm so... look, I've said this for many, many years, and Lord knows, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I've been through it. I'd rather just get run out. I would. I'd rather get run out than that.
I don't know. I liked having the drama in the front.
No, because now I debate for the rest of my life. What if Ja wouldn't have turned his ankle? What if we would have gotten the ball in bounds? I can't. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
I would rather live through the ups and downs and feel down at the end than just feel down the whole time. Like when it was 20 in the...
No, you don't have to feel down the whole time. This season stinks.
It does stink. It does stink.
Like, what are you talking about? When's the last time I felt good?
I don't remember feeling good.
When was the last time we felt good?
When's the last time
Boston?
you felt good?
That was in December.
February. Oh, yeah, that was December.
No, really. Like, when's the last time we felt like really good about the way things, like, really good?
Yeah.
I'm serious.
What?
I'll
tell
give
you.
Me,
I'll tell you. I'm gonna give you a date.
Please.
Okay. Okay. So it's obviously before all those freaking buzzer beaters.
Who did we beat?
Hang on.
Who is the last awesome team we beat?
Oh, buddy, that's gonna be a minute. Here's the
Boston, right? Who did we beat that was any good?
Here's the truth. I was happier longer than most were because I sort of just was very dismissive of the record against good teams. Not dismissive, but I discounted it more than I should have. I was like, they're still second in the West. Relax. John Morant's barely played and they're second in the West. Relax. And that was clearly wrong.
Well,
that was clearly wrong.
I mean, they just look. That takes a big man to say that, Gary.
Well, I didn't want to. I didn't want to say it.
I mean, their schedule got good and they got bad.
That's exactly what happened.
Maybe at Minnesota on January 11th.
My God. The Ja game winner?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Houston here.
Yeah, Houston here was good.
Houston here.
That was a tight game.
That was the one that was oh, no, they called the accidental timeout. The refs gave Taylor a timeout, and Eric started screaming, no! Because we had that situation before where we were down and Bane hit the three after the timeout.
You're right.
And then, so maybe the Houston game.
And that was a 4-game winning streak. So that started a 4-game winning streak.
That was what?
That was January 30th. So,
that's 3 months ago.
Bro.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's a long time.
Been a while.
It has been a while.
Dude. So come on. What's one last kick in the nuts?
and you mentioned you've got the Finland joke. The TNT guys are just killing that part of this story over. Like, I don't think I ever heard Charles Barkley say the name Taylor Jenkins for years. And now he can't go on TV without bringing up Taylor Jenkins.
No, he called him the wrong name for years.
Yes.
He never called him the right name.
Now it's like he's his best friend.
I don't think. It's bizarre. I mean, it is strange. And I mean, honestly, isn't there a part of you that goes that is an element to it? That is an element to it. There's no way around this, right? Where you look at the end of the season and it's here is the most crucial moment. And everybody can just roll their eyes at that. If you're in the front office and say, oh, come on, right? But bro, you practice these things.
Oh, yeah.
And there's here's what we're doing. Here's the moment. Here's what we've been practicing. I'll give you an example. There's a perfect example of this. So the first one was a pump fake. Edey came out. Pippen tried to jump. That's the first or the second Curry three. The first one, if you go back and watch this, bro, that is archived for that moment. If you go back and watch that play, Steph sets the screen. Butler comes up. Steph wraps around. Draymond sets a screen. I mean, you're a step late on that, but bro, that was set up for that exact. They hadn't run that. Yeah. That's set up for that exact moment. Here's the moment where we're going to need this to work out.
Everybody has one.
Yeah, and so how could you have, you know what I mean? You could tell me that that's the same. Look, not that one. I'm talking about the last one. I'm talking about there were two at the very end of the game. Watch this. Now watch Butler come up. Curry sets the screen. Now watch this. The handoff.
Right.
Well, they didn't run that all game.
Well, you brought up...
And that's for that moment.
Well, you brought up Houston earlier. You know, they win that game, the Purdue game, on the baseline out of bounds play.
That's right.
They had not run that.
Right.
But they had practiced it a million times. And was executed perfectly. Purdue didn't know how to guard it.
Right.
And you've got to...
And so now your season comes down to one play to execute it. And you didn't execute it at all.
Right.
At all.
I do think these things, I don't know whether they will matter, because I think you and I are in agreement here. I believe when the front office moves on Taylor Jenkins, they believe in that moment that Isla is going to be the next head coach full-time. I believe they believe that.
Sure.
Maybe not set.
But they paid his buyout to bring him here.
Right. And when something like that happens and people are very publicly questioning him,
absolutely,
I think it could play. It could move you. It could move you. I don't know that it will, but I do think everything that's happening right now should factor into something.
Bro, everything becomes on the table
that's
when you were the 2 seed and you may not make the playoffs. depending on what happens Friday, or at best, you're now the 8 seed playing against the 1 seed.
Right.
Everything is on the table. The truth is, I'd be worried if I were the people that get to make the decision who the head coach is.
Right.
Everybody has to worry when something like this happens.
Oh, sure.
This is an abject disaster.
That's right.
Truly.
Yeah.
Like, to fall apart like this during a season, this is supposed to be winning time.
Right.
We paid 3 guys over $100 million.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You can get these kind of results without doing that.
That's right.
And so they've already blamed the coach.
Right.
Next, it's going to be either the players or the front office.
That's right.
That's it.
Right.
There's no way. That's the way this goes.
Nothing.
Right. I've covered this team for 20-something years. That's the way it goes. When something like this happens, so blame number 1. That's out of the way.
Right.
Okay. Well, did this guy change? Did anything change?
Nothing.
Let's be honest. All right.
You can say Ja's gotten better and Zach Edey's rebounding, but the bottom line, it looks it's the same stuff.
And people will say, one of the ones that I have scoffed at is the whole, look at what he's done for Edey. Taylor Jenkins cost Edey Rookie of the Year. It's ridiculous what he did. Bro, we don't have anybody else big.
He has to play.
He has to.
Right.
Do you think if Taylor Jenkins was still coaching this team, Zach Edey wouldn't be playing? Come on.
Yes.
Once Brandon got hurt, we don't have an option.
Right.
We don't have an option.
Right.
What are you going to do? Put Santi and Jaren out there? We try that.
Yeah.
I mean, so that is, look, and since Isolo took over, Edey, they said last night, they went from 13 screens a game to 30 screens a game. So there's no question. But that was already starting to be in motion, and that wasn't a function of Edey as much as it was a function of Ja. Right? That they were trying to thread the needle of how do we get the best out of Ja so he's not standing in the corner disgruntled.
Right.
And that was going to be playing a lot more pick and roll basketball. And then they just had a new guy who came in with the job to do the bidding. I mean, they fought last night. They played hard. Right. They didn't get run out, and they had their chances for sure. And I do think it's totally fair to wonder. I mean, I wonder, it's a 2-point game when Ja gets hurt.
Yeah.
And they had stormed back. It felt like they had all the momentum in the world. And then he hits that baseline jumper, too, on that. Sucks.
And I know after the game, Josh said he's going to be good to go, but he doesn't know that. And
he doesn't know.
Allie LaForce, post-game hit, she was like, what she gathered was, it's not great, but it's best case scenario for something like this. But we just don't know. We do not know.
What it means that it's not a severe sprain or a break.
Right.
And you can, look, with ankles, as you know, first of all, once you turn them the first time, the second and third time it's a lot easier to turn.
Right.
It's scary when it happens. I mean, I've had both my ankles over the years, and they both turn, and then they turn a lot, and then you think, oh my God, I just did it again,
right.
And it hurts like hell for a little while, but then they can usually recuperate. And obviously, he's going to throw that thing in ice for the next 48 hours, and if it's swollen up pretty bad, then that's fine. But, I mean, they obviously don't think it's some kind of severe sprain or a break.
Right. They did something to get him through the game last night.
Man, he was hired and shit. Did you see him looking at the ceiling?
I was texting you guys.
Did you see him?
There's one time where we're coming.
He was looking at the.
They're coming out of timeout. I texted you guys.
Bro,
here's
what. This Joker was more in outer space than Katy Perry.
Here's the text exactly.
For sure. He was floating for sure. He was floating,
buddy.
Yeah.
I said
they got him through.
Here's the text I sent to Vernon, and his, look at him staring at the ceiling right now. He's so high. He was on the court like this,
dude. He wasn't thinking about
remember
that.
when they put Mike Conley on the jumbotron
about that ankle.
He was in the suite, and they put with the broken face, and Mike was like, I was like, he doesn't know where he's at.
No way.
Yeah, Ja was.
It got him through.
So.
But I mean, look, man.
Maybe we can get a refill of whatever that was.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this: they now, and again, like you were saying, everything changes based on that game. I mean, honestly, I've been through this before, where it's weird. There's no worse vibes than the Fizdale year, where started off the season like number one team. Marc Gasol is one of the best players in the NBA. He's on his way to another All-Star game. Everything's amazing. Things start going bad. They have this game after the calendar turns, and Fizdale gets into it with Mark, then calls him into an office, strips his captaincy, despite all the veterans telling him not to, and he lost Mark. Like, he totally lost him that year. And that season went to absolute hell. Like, truly. It was depressing. And then we got to the playoffs, and that was the take that for data year.
Right.
And in the end, even when we think back to that year, that's the take that for data year. That's the year that Marc Gasol, interestingly enough, hit the game winner in FedEx Forum in a playoff game. It's the year that Tony Allen got hurt, so he wasn't able to guard Kawhi Leonard, so we had like Wayne Selden and Andrew Harrison and whoever out there. But that season is not looked at as one of the great disappointments in Grizzlies history because you had like a game 6, right? You had a game 6 in FedEx Forum that you lost, and Kawhi Leonard was like Michael Jordan. And it's like, you know, I've been through it. I always say there's nothing new under the sun. If you were happen to win on Friday and, you know, hope against hope that, like, somehow you're in some kind of a game 6, it would, again, that changes because right now it's like, who knows if you're going to win on Friday, right? You're still the team that could give up 70 points in the first half to anybody,
80.
right? That's for sure, right? If you did, and then you play Oklahoma City, and you do anything else except for getting just absolutely smashed, I do think things are viewed a little bit differently because, you know, everybody's always just in the moment, right? In the moment, and it is what it is now. But, like, obviously, the fact that you're even in this position is the
to me. That's the thing. I can't get away from that. You shouldn't even be here. You shouldn't be here. I don't care.
It's crazy.
I don't care what happened last night. I mean, I care, but like. Everything that happened last night, everything that will happen Friday, everything that might happen next week.
You're dead right when you say they de-emphasize the regular season, and I talked about this yesterday. Last night was a referendum on everything.
Yes.
And the way you handled everything. And so that has to work out your way because everybody can talk about process all they want. In the end, in sports, the result is what matters.
Yes.
The result is what matters. Nobody cares about your process unless it leads to the result that is desired. And so the end has to justify the means.
That's right.
And last night meant that the end did not justify the means.
Undeniably,
right? You could have been playing Houston, which honestly, that is your best option to play against in the NBA playoffs.
That's who we wanted months ago. Yeah,
right. It's the best option. Because look, you would rather play them than the Lakers, than Minnesota, than the Clippers, than the Warriors. You would rather play them than all those teams because they don't have playoff experience and they got, 4 guys in their top 6 that shoot, less than 45%. Like, they are offensively challenged. They are defensively a menace, and they are big. And I'm not taking anything away from them in the season that they've had. I'm saying when you are, that is more respect towards these veteran-laden teams that have been through it because, that play I showed you earlier, like, that's the moment. Don't tell me institutional knowledge of being in those spots does not matter because when it mattered most, they got the exact shot they wanted.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
They've been in that spot 1,000 times.
That's right.
Bro, I've been through 3 friggin' eras. 3! I have watched Steph Curry knock off Tony Allen and Mike Conley all the way to knocking off this version of the Grizzlies.
That's right.
And in between.
That's right.
It's crazy, his longevity and how great he is. I mean, I can't. I even texted my co-host, Jacoby, last night, and he was like, man, the Grizzlies are fighting. They may be able to do this. And I said, this is going to hurt.
Yeah, 'cause he's just always...
This is going to hurt. I know. I've been through this.
Bro, the young folks won't remember. Once upon a time, that dude couldn't beat the Grizzlies.
Right.
It just
that's 20 years ago.
It always feels like it always feels like we are 1 or 2 possessions away from him coming off a screen and just popping one. Because I talked about this yesterday. He's the greatest shooter of all time. He's the greatest mover of all time. Nobody moves like him.
Well, I've mentioned this before. I don't know if you've ever seen there's like I think probably could look it up on YouTube. There's a show that they did on ESPN called Sports Science. It's great. And one of the things that they talked about, like I remember a lot of these different episodes. So like they would do different things. They would track these athletes and they would figure out why they are so great at what they do.
Right.
And like one of them was like, how does James Harden, like he's not some kind of top tier athlete. So how does he do it? And one of the things and this is true of Luka, it turns out, they stop faster than everyone. And when you watch them, you're going to notice this now. They stop. Gilgeous-Alexander does this too, because he's not a mega athlete. It's their ability to stop. They cannot run faster than you. Right. They can stop faster than you.
You know where this is also true?
And they use that to their advantage.
You know where this is also true in basketball? Like a similar type of skill? Second jump.
Yep.
A second jump.
Yep. That was always the Clark thing.
Yeah. How does he get, because his second jump's better than yours, quicker than yours.
Right.
That's
and so the Curry one was, bro, they put a friggin' monitor on him, and you know how he's just running.
He just runs in circles.
Like, bro, his heart rate never gets above what yours is right now.
He's
never. He's trained for it.
Yes.
His heart rate, most of the time, and they hooked up other athletes.
Right.
And you run around like that, and now I'm catching the ball, my heart rate's at 150.
Right.
No. His is like a friggin' dead person.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like his heart rate's not going up because he is just like, his cardiovascular fitness is crazy. And like they were talking about how that, like your cardiovascular fitness and your heart rate going up affects. Like they even do this. They do this a lot with the golfers now.
Yes.
You know, with the whoop straps, where they on these high pressure moments or whatever, and somebody like Scotty Scheffler or whoever, like they're just they're non-pulsed.
I read a study on this, and it was about golf specifically, and they took all the professional PGA Tour guys, live guys, whatever, and what they found, this is an oversimplification of it, but what they found is, in terms of ability, there's not a lot of difference between these guys. The truth is, what separates Scotty Scheffler from the 40th player in the world? It's here.
Yep.
It's this. They find that the common thread is that the elite golfers are for the most part, they're different here.
Well, and the most famous of those golf guys, and he works with a lot of different professional athletes as well and college teams, is that Bob Rotella.
He works for Roy. You ready for this? Because I actually put this in the 5 more thing. He used to be at the Finch Center all the time.
Bob. Oh yeah, he's buddies with Cal.
He was. Yeah, I know this guy.
How about this? So this is crazy. I was listening to one of the podcasts recapping the Masters. I think it was Shotgun Start, somebody, where they were saying that, or maybe it was the No Laying Up guys, but they were doing like a news and notes thing, like rumors they heard and whatever. Rotella was there the entire week with him this week. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yeah, it matters.
Like, no, the whole week
Yeah.
he stayed with Rory. And in fact, I guess the story today is he did some interview and said it was absolutely intentional.
That's what I have in 5 more things.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like, no, that was by design. We talked about that.
Yeah.
We're not going to pay attention to him or anything else. They reached the decision, if we play the way we're capable of playing, nothing else here matters. We'll win this. So let's just focus on that.
I can't tell you how many times I've listened to that thing. So, you know, like you got the Amazon thing? Mm-hmm. So every once in a while they'll do like the Audible. You'll get like 6 free books or whatever.
We have that.
Bro, you ever want to go to sleep, download those Bob Rotella books, buddy. Like the ultimate golfer, or like, you know, golf is not a game of whatever. Like he's got like 5 or 6 books. He has honestly so I listen to podcasts when I go to bed. Like I always have like a ear thing on, right? When I'm going to bed.
Out.
I mean, you listen, dude. I mean, out.
There was one.
I listened to it last night because I swear to God, what ear? Let me pull it up. I'm gonna tell you exactly what the name of it was because it was so late, and I was like, I'm so wired after this game. I was like, I gotta go to sleep. Here, you can see on my Audible. Look at this. Golf is not a game of perfect. By Bob Rotella.
Out in 3 minutes?
Gone.
There used to.
I don't remember a thing Bob said.
I can't remember what movie it was, but I had something similar where and it was a movie I'd never seen, and it was one I wanted to see, and I would put it on when I was going to bed, and I never saw more than like 8 minutes of it.
Dude.
I've seen the first 8 minutes of this movie 50 times, but I I am incapable of lying down and watching this movie. I will be out in 8 minutes.
Listen to what this sounds like.
The aggressive swing. You want to play each hole in such a way that you're confident you can execute each shot you attempt. That gives you a cocky, aggressive swing, which is another way of saying that you swing aggressively, that you swing with trust. It produces your best results.
I'm out, baby.
I know.
Hey, you ain't gonna kill my. I just lost the whole chat. I just lost the whole chat to the Jason and John show. You just sent the whole chat to Jason and John.
I doubt that.
Congratulations.
I doubt that.
Congratulations. All right, we'll leave it there then.
Yep.
We'll leave it there. I'm sure you got a fun.
They're talking about Tiger recruiting.
they're getting ready for Peach Jam.
Yeah.
Okay. They're getting ready for Peach Jam. I'm sure they're doing the same thing we're doing. All right. I'll see you later. All right.
Screw
hey,
you.
I can't.
Shut up.
What are you mad about?
Who cares?
Your Venmo's a little messed up. Is that what you're mad about?
Who cares?
Your Venmo got a little messed up.
Who cares?
I'll see you later. That's Chris Vernon. He'll be in studio at noon. Grumpy Grizzly, I'm certain. We come back. Nico Harrison. He held a press conference yesterday, and it was just as awkward and weird as you would imagine. Said he has no regrets. I would fire this guy today if he was my employee. No regrets. I can't stand it when people can't admit a mistake. No regrets. How is it possible? You did something that has an entire arena chanting "Fire Nico" every time you walk in it. You have no regrets? None? Zero? All right, let's talk about this. We'll do it next.
In honor of George Foreman, decided to do a pick six on 6 greatest heavyweight boxers of all time.
Number 4, my guy, Mike Tyson. There is no greater feat that I've had. Like if I had my Mount Rushmore of things that I've accomplished in my life, the very first time I beat Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson Punch-Out.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Grammy, Academy, and Golden Globe Award-winning superstar, Mary J. Blige, live in Memphis. The For My Fans Tour, live at FedEx Forum Saturday, April 19th, with special guests Neo and Mario. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The iconic Mary J. Blige, for one night only.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
The new issue of Slam, the cover dropped, and it is our friend Jaren Jackson Jr. On the cover.
And shout out to you, Lane.
Yeah.
You kept, well, I mean, we knew about it, but you kept this a secret the whole time. So shout out to you for putting this together.
We did the photo shoot a couple weeks ago here on a Sunday afternoon in the practice court. The Sneak Fest show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, Visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and OrthoSouth will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Dallas Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison held a media availability yesterday in Dallas with select members of the local media. No cameras.
Okay.
Just like, hey, everybody, come on over and let's talk for a little while. And if you want to ask me some questions, I'll do my best to answer.
Okay.
And among other things, he said the following sentence: "There's no regrets on the trade of Luka Doncic. No regrets." Bennett, do you think it's possible to have no regrets about trading Luka Doncic, given everything that has happened since you traded Luka Doncic? I think it's possible you can still believe you did the right thing. You can still believe I made the right decision in that moment that needed to be made. He's wrong, clearly. But I could still think, because if you're Nico, here's what you can always hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you could actually say. I would say he's wrong, but if I were advising him, here's what I would tell him to keep doubling down on. Keep saying this over and over again. Guys, it is possible I will be proven wrong, okay? But the bet I made has nothing to do with how Luka Doncic is playing right now in LA, and it's got nothing to do with the situation we're in right now here in Dallas. It's got everything to do with I did not think this franchise should invest a Supermax deal and commit to this guy long term because I don't believe he plays defense, and defense is what I believe wins championships. And more than that, I don't believe he's going to stay healthy. I don't believe there is nothing I've ever seen with this obviously talented guy that suggests to me he is going to age well in this league. I might be wrong, but that's my bet, and I made the bet. Just keep it there. I understand how you can kind of get there. I disagree with all that, by the way. Disagree with every bit of it.
I do too.
But I can see how you could get there. I don't understand how you could sit there today and say you have no regrets. Because the honest answer to that question should be, do you have any regrets about what went down? The honest answer should be, I mean, I'm human. Of course I have some regrets, second thoughts. I mean, every time I walk in a room now, people look at me differently. People hate me. This whole city hates me. I didn't properly grasp what was going to come with me making this basketball decision. I made a basketball decision, and I am willing to acknowledge now that I didn't properly understand what I was doing to this fan base, to this city. So, of course, I have some regrets. I still think I made a good basketball decision, but was I a little short-sighted on some of this stuff? Yes, clearly I was. This has not been a fun experience for me. That's got to be the closer to the truth. But when you just stay defiant, no regrets. I did what was best for the Mavericks, and just can't give an inch. I'm no longer interested in you.
Yeah, you lose me.
They're going to have to fire him. And it's not because he's not good at his job, although I don't believe he's good at his job, based on this one big thing he did in his job that suggests he's not good at it. He theoretically is capable of running the Mavericks in a way that keeps them competitive in the West and perhaps turns them into championship contenders. I'm not saying he couldn't do the job anymore. I'm saying nobody will ever believe in him again. And it's a little bit like politics. You see this all the time in politics. A mayor will resign, or a congressman or congresswoman will resign. They're caught up in some sort of scandal. They're caught up in something where the public trust has been violated, has been gone. It's been diminished to nothing. And they'll hold a press conference and they'll say, I still think I can do this job, but I have lost the trust of the public and they no longer believe in me. And it makes it not like this isn't practical for me to continue in this role. That's where they're at in Dallas right now. They have somebody running the franchise that the fan base doesn't believe in, doesn't believe in. You don't get that back. There's nothing you can do to get that back.
No.
You will always be the person who traded Luka Doncic, A, in a way that literally nobody else would have done, but B, in a way that's not even smart if you're going to do it. Keep in mind, no other franchise would have done this. But if you decide you'll be the one who would, you didn't even do it the right way. You don't, just a private little deal with the Lakers? No, you leak it to Shams that Luka Doncic is available. Or you
Go
don't
get a
even,
haul, yeah.
You don't even leak it to Shams. You just let everybody know and let somebody else leak it. And that way when Luka comes to you and says, what's going on? You can say, I didn't leak this to Shams. Check I don't know where this is coming from. But like, whatever. It's just like, that's how you get 6 first-round picks. You don't just do this. It just, the whole thing is,
it was stupid, yeah.
I used to throw in words like stupid and dumb all the time. I try to do that less now because it doesn't sound right to me. But it is stupid. There's no better way to describe it. It's just a stupid decision. And for you to not be better prepared as you sit down with the media for the first real time to discuss it. He had discussed it briefly previously, but this is the first real time. You've had time to digest this. You know what it looks like, what it feels like. You know what questions are coming. And he just had bad answers. Like, if you don't have good answers for questions that you know are coming, then what are you even doing this for? That's the thing. You created a situation yesterday. He didn't have to do this. They could have just said, we're not talking. We haven't talked and we're not going to. You know? GMs don't talk every day. They didn't have to do this. They created a situation and made it worse. They just keep making bad situations worse. They'll have to pull the plug on that. I don't know if it'll be this off season, but you'll never be able to pull Mavericks fans, and no matter what happens, almost no matter what happens, you'll never be able to pull Mavericks fans and they'll say, I believe in Nico Harrison. I want him to continue as GM of my favorite franchise. They'll never believe in him that way again. I don't know that they ever did, but even the ones who did don't anymore. It's a real problem. I feel bad for them, but it's self-inflicted. Man, you screwed up a franchise, a city, and your own life. For what? To prove a point to somebody you thought didn't do enough setups? What are we doing?
Yikes.
Yeah, silly.
Number 2.
Oh, buddy. They got problems in the transfer portal. Opens today for college football. Former Tennessee quarterback, Nico Iamaleava. Say it. Can you say the name?
I need to look at
Nico Iamaleava.
Nico Iamaleava.
Okay. Something like that.
We got it.
All right, let's start that over then. Hit story number 2 again.
Okay, all right, hang on.
Number 2.
Nico Iamaleava, former Tennessee quarterback. He is in the transfer portal.
Yep.
And all the reporting is now that there's no market for him.
Now Tulane don't even want him.
Ooh, buddy, when you can't even be a green wave at the price you desire, you got a real problem.
He's going to be an ECU Pirate.
He's going to end up being an ECU Pirate.
I think they have a quarterback.
Speaking of stupid, is there something with the name Nico?
Someone overplayed their hand.
Is there something with the name Nico? Because you got Nico Harrison doing stupid things in Dallas, and now Nico in Knoxville. Knoxville Nico overplayed his hand.
Yeah.
How do you do this if you don't know?
You have to know that there's a deal there.
Yes. Like, do you remember
something fell through the cracks?
Do you know? Honestly, here's what I think, and I want to be clear. I don't think this because like my sources in Knoxville told me. I'm just reading. The dad seems to be bananas. It's the dad that doesn't seem to know what's going on.
I guess because you have to at least have an idea that deal, that $4 million, is somewhere out there for you.
For people who don't know the story, this young man was locked into a deal at Tennessee for $2.4 million. That's what he was going to make this year playing football, $2.4 million. He got it into his head he should make more and could make more.
Like 4, right?
Yeah, that was the number that was being thrown around. Yeah. He believed he could make more. Now, we talked about this a couple of days ago, and I said, hey, if he can get $4 million, I don't think I would have advised him if he were my son. The day before spring game, I would have said, no, we've committed to, this is like literally what I would tell my son. I mean, we did it with baseball last year. Like there was a point where, you want to play for this team? And I said, no, this is your team. Mm-hmm. We joined this team. This is the team that wanted you. These are your friends. You've made a commitment to them. And it's cool that somebody else might want you. And we can explore that at the end of the season. But this is the team you're on. When you tell somebody you're going to, I believe in this, man. This is something that matters to me. My morals can be compromised a million different ways, right? I'm not perfect, probably not even good. But there is something I believe in strongly, and that's if you tell somebody you're going to do something, you should do it. You follow through. You don't. Your words got to mean something, right? And I think I'm better at this today than I was maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But I want to, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to try to be there for you. And if I'm not, just know that something went terribly wrong. I try to teach this to my children, whatever positive things I might be able to instill in them to, hopefully overwhelm the negative stuff. You tell somebody you're going to do something, you do it. You commit to something, you're committed to it. You don't go back on your word in that way. So if this were my son, I would have said, we might be leaving money on the table, but we committed to this. We're not quitting the day before the spring game. We're going to play the spring game. We're going to play the season. And then we can look at it after the season if you want to, but we do not bail on people we're committed to at this point in the calendar. It wouldn't sit well with me. That's what I would have done if I were his father. But I did say on Monday, that's me. That's what I would do. But if you don't care about any of that stuff, if you can go get $4 million instead of 2.4, given that you only get so much time to make this money in college, I understand why you would do it. It's not what I would do. It's not what I would want my children to do, but I understood it. The problem for this guy is that the $4 million doesn't seem to be there. He tried to negotiate with Tennessee without having another good option. Mm-hmm. That's what we now know.
And now it doesn't sound like the Tennessee offer is even there anywhere.
It sounds like they told him, no, we're good.
Yeah.
And I'll never say they can't circle back, and they might both just need each other at this point. They might just get to a point where
he just goes back to Tennessee.
Well, they might. I know Tennessee hates him.
Sure, the fans hate him right now, right?
And his teammates probably do too. And if I were running Tennessee's program, I think what I would do is we'll find somebody else, but we're not bringing that back into our program. He burned that bridge, and we have to draw lines somewhere. And oh, by the way, if we let him circle back to us, all that's going to do is tell the next guy they can do the same thing.
I'd be shocked if they let him circle back, because what I said to you is if this is still Tennessee football. This is a big brand. Like, they're supposed to, compete for SEC championships, right? Or at least play in that game.
They were, in theory, on paper, supposed to slip a little this season, but still preseason, most places, top 20 with him at quarterback.
If they felt like they had to have that guy, they would have found a way to get him that money. A lot of money in that program.
Yeah, I just think they drew the line. I think they thought he overplayed his hand. Mm-hmm. I think they thought, buddy, you're closer to average than you are elite. Don't ask us for more money. Then they drew the line. Then he said, okay, I'm gone. And now he doesn't have great options. There is a scenario where I could envision him circling back and them saying, all right, F this guy, but he is the best option at quarterback. Let's just
try to get through the season.
Let's hug and make up and try to get through the season. I could see that in the interest of get your feelings out the way. We're trying to win football games.
Sure.
And this guy gives us a better chance than the other guy. I could see that, but I think you're better off as a program as you've set the standard here. Mm-hmm. You let the other guys rally around each other, and you show both Nico and everybody else, this is not the way we run our program.
Right.
You walk out the door on us, we locking it behind you. Because if you open it back up, then when your star receiver wants to renegotiate next spring, how you going to handle that? No, we're not giving you any more money. Get out of here. All right, I'll get out of here. Can't find the money, comes back. Well, you let Nico come back? What do you just – I'd cut ties right here. That's what I think they will do. I think it's what they should do. But I wouldn't rule out the other thing. The thing that's wild to me, and where this whole thing gets sideways, is think of the Kevin Willard situation at Maryland recently. Do you know when he started popping off, getting tough about Maryland, saying, I wanted to stay? The big story was back around Christmas, Maryland was playing like Rutgers or whatever. And they were staying in New York City, in Manhattan. And Kevin wanted his team to stay an extra night in Manhattan. Go see Rockefeller Center. Just being in New York, it's fun. People go there literally every day just to be there, just to experience it. So he was like, hey, we're here. Let's just stay an extra day. There's no classes. We're on Christmas break. Let's just stay an extra day in New York City. And they told him, no. We don't have that money. It's too expensive. And deep down, he's like, if Indiana's basketball coach wanted to stay an extra day in New York City, that would get done. If Michigan State's basketball coach wanted to stay an extra day in New York City over Christmas break, no problem. Could stay 2. But my school's telling me no. They want me to compete with Michigan State and Indiana in the Big Ten. But they're telling me no in places where the other people don't get told no. And my NIL's not where it should. He was mad about it in December. You know when you heard about it? March.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know why he didn't talk about it in December? Because you don't shit talk your bosses publicly until or unless you know there's a good option for me if I don't want to be here anymore. So he didn't start talking about this in December. NIL, not staying in New York. That's when he was mad about it. That's when it happened. You know when he started talking about it? The second he knew Villanova had a contract on the table for him, practically speaking.
Yep.
The second he knew Villanova wants me for this amount of money and this many years and this much NIL budget. The second he knew he had the Villanova job is when he started talking tough with Maryland and telling Maryland, if you don't do this and you don't do that and you don't do this, I don't know how you expect to win Big Ten titles. He believed it all in November and December and January and February. He didn't say it publicly or act on it until he knew he had a great option. So then they start popping off. And then it got real awkward. He messed up. He shouldn't have done it. But that's what motivated him to do it or freed him up to do it. I can talk a little freely right now. I can put pressure on them to do more. Because if they do, great, I'll stay maybe. And if they don't, I can go to Villanova. I'm good either way. So that's what he did. Then he went to Villanova. Nico did that without the Villanova option. He started talking tough to Tennessee without knowing for sure this other great thing is out there. Kevin Willard could start talking tough to Maryland and say, and if you guys don't budge, if I say I want to stay 3 extra nights every December in New York, and I want $4 million more in NIL, and I want each of my assistants to make $200,000 more annually with guaranteed 3-year contracts. If I say all that and you push back and say no, I'll go to Villanova. And if you grant all that, holy shit, I might have just made this the best job in America. I'll stay here. But that's what you're dealing with. Nico went and talked crazy to Tennessee and said, if you don't do this, I'm leaving. And they said, okay, we're not doing it, leave. And then he's just sitting out there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no market. That's the quote from Heather Dinich at ESPN. There's no market for him. He will play college football somewhere and he'll make money doing it. But it now seems more likely than not that he's going to play, you ready for this? For an inferior team for less money next season. It appears likely he will be on a worse team for less money. Overplaying your hand, not knowing what's really out there for you. Like I went through this when I left 92.9. Every time I went to 92.9 and said I need A, B, and C, it was always because I had another offer. I never went in there. I never once went in there and said, if you don't give me this, 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 and this, I'm leaving. Unless I knew I really could leave if I wanted to. And there's great options available to me. And I'll take them. If you don't do this, I will leave. But I didn't just walk in there on a Tuesday and be like, I'm disgruntled and I think I need more money. And if you don't give it to me, I'll leave. Without knowing I got a place to go. I mean, I think Vernon did that one time. But I don't think I did. Vernon got out over his skis a little bit. It all worked out, obviously. But I'm not that confident in myself. God bless Vernon. He had that confidence. I didn't have that kind of confidence. Before you hear me start talking crazy, I'm going to know I got another contract sitting over here for me. I don't know why somebody didn't advise this young man to do this way. And it sounds like the biggest problem is that the person who should have advised him outside of an agent might have been his father. And his father reportedly is the one that took him down this bad path. Like, should be a lesson in there for everybody. If you are a young man playing any college sport, making NIL, be appreciative. But if you do think you're undervalued, underpaid, before you get tough, make sure you've got other great options waiting on you. Because if you don't, and that other place calls your bluff and says, we're not giving you another penny, and if that's not good enough, go. If you don't have anywhere to go, things could get complicated for you. And that's the story for Knoxville Nico. We'll keep you updated.
Number 3.
Casey Musgraves. She has a question she needs answered.
What's up?
She asked it on social media. Here's the question. Casey Musgraves, country music star.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what Casey Musgraves wants to know, and I need you to answer this question for me. Here's the question she posed. Can you die of horniness? You ever heard of anybody dying of horniness? I think you can ruin your life from horniness. I think you can mess things up.
Can you die of? Are we allowed to say that?
Horniness?
Can I say horniness? I guess so. That's not derogatory.
I mean, we'll see. I guess we'll find out.
People get horny.
People do get horny.
Yeah.
Casey Musgrave's among them, apparently.
Can you die of horniness?
That's what she wants to know.
I think the answer is clearly yes.
How?
Because I've seen doctors say, this is true. I just want. I'm not like being weird here.
We'll see about that.
I'm not being weird here. I want to preface what I'm about to say that I'm not being weird here. You have to relieve yourself every now and again.
Whoa.
Because it's unhealthy to be backed up. I'm just speaking from a male perspective.
You don't think females need to relieve? Is that the word you used?
Yeah, they do, but I'm saying like I think it's unhealthy for males to not do that.
What about Mormons?
Oh, I think they're. I mean, I don't think you're supposed to hold it in.
I don't know if that's what the Book of Mormon says.
So you just hold it in for?
I don't. I would never.
Yeah.
I ain't hold nothing in.
I mean, I've seen doctors say it's unhealthy to hold it in.
That is something that people say. Do we know if it's actually true, or is that just something you just heard when you were to justify jerking off?
I don't think you're allowed to say jerking off.
Okay,
either.
I'm sorry.
I don't think you can say that.
All right, then
you better quit.
Is it true, or are we just justifying our private desires?
I think it's true.
Bennett thinks it's true.
A doctor said it.
Which doctor, though?
Was it
Dr. Phil? Was it Dr. Phil?
I don't remember where I saw it.
I mean, Jesus. Bennett,
Does he not have a degree? I mean, what he's called doctor for a reason. It wasn't Dr. Phil. It wasn't on Dr. Phil that I saw this. Maybe it was like an Instagram doctor.
Answer
I don't
the question.
know.
Can you? So, is this what you're suggesting? That as a male, if you don't relieve yourself, is that what you said?
Every now and again.
You could literally die from that.
From the backup.
Like you know how Gene Hackman apparently died?
Yeah, like rodents.
No, I think his wife died from rodents, and then I think he just died.
Yeah, okay.
He just stumbled around.
Because he was like not all there, yeah.
Here's what I'm trying to say. Forget
Yeah.
Gene Hackman for a second. I just watched a video about him, and it's in my head. Forget Gene Hackman for a second. If you don't drink water, if I just locked you in a room and just didn't give you food and water, eventually you would die. We agree with that. And that I know doctors have said that. I know that's a real thing. Okay? Are you suggesting that similarly, if I locked you in a room and you could not relieve yourself for some period of time,
something could happen.
You would eventually die. You think death? I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Death.
I think it's like bad for your prostate.
But like you would die. This is something that could really happen. Bennett Doyle, let's make an obituary. How old are you right now?
38.
Okay. Bennett Doyle, 38.
Yep.
Grind City media producer Bennett Doyle, 38, died Wednesday
from semen retention.
I've never read that story. I don't see. That's the thing. I've never read that story. Here's what I read all the time, like pancreatic cancer, right? Car crash, fentanyl. Never semen retention. I don't know that anybody's ever died of semen retention. We got to be skating pretty close to the edge here.
I have Google. Wait, actually, let me Google it on my phone.
I dare you to
Google it on my phone.
I dare
this
you to
isn't a
Google
company-issued phone.
I dare you to Google semen retention and see what pops up.
Can you die?
Can you die? I think we all know this isn't true, Bennett.
How do you spell that word? S-E-M-E-N. Is that right?
Bennett, I'm not going to tell you how to spell semen. All right.
I'm going to type in the word retention too, just to make sure I can spell it.
Bennett, I think you're living a life of lies. I think you know deep down you're not going to die if you don't relieve yourself. I think you know. I think you've justified the way you spend your afternoons by tricking yourself into thinking you're going to die, literally die.
Okay. Yeah. Oh my God! Some of these Google questions,
what is it?
I can't even say some of it.
Well,
like, how is that even something? I can't even say that out loud. it says.
Better just tell me you're not going to die. I know you're not going to die, but I need to hear you say it.
Different studies suggest different things. That's all I'm saying.
I think it might be unhealthy.
It depends on what doctor you talk to.
I think
it depends on the doctor you talk to. Different doctors
does.
tell you different things.
I know different doctors tell you different things.
They're not all on the same page.
They're not all on the same page. That's right. Here's what I think. Here's what I think is probably true. If you go a significant amount of time without food and water, you will die. All right?
Mm-hmm.
You go a significant amount of time without oxygen, you will die. All right? I think if you go a significant amount of time without relieving yourself, you will be uncomfortable, and it might not be healthy for you. It might not be good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you'll die.
So then what is Casey Musgraves talking about?
I think she was just high and playing around on Twitter. I don't know. She clearly...
I need some clarification.
She just wanted
Casey.
to know. I think what she was trying to say is, man, I would like to hook up with another human.
I feel like I'm gonna die.
I feel very lonely. I would like to touch another human.
You can die of loneliness.
Can you die of loneliness?
A broken heart. You can die of a broken heart.
I remember people said that about Joe Paterno. They said that, because he was disgraced.
Mm-hmm.
It came out that he was covering for a pedophile for years.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
That's not good.
They took his statue down, and then shortly after that, he died. And you know what people said? Man, Joe Paterno, he died of a broken heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget somebody who covered Penn State closely. I had him on the radio show to talk about it, like a beat writer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what do you think of the sentiment? I don't mean to get too philosophical on you. I was trying to be smart and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't mean to get too philosophical on you, but, what do you think of the sentiment out there that Joe Paterno was like this revered figure for his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And in his final year, that flipped on him, and they took his statue down, and then he dies, and people are saying, Joe Paterno died of a broken heart. What do you think of that? And you know what the guy said? He died of cancer. Okay? He got cancer, and then he died. That's what happens lots of times to people who get cancer. And it was one of those things where you think you're asking a smart question, and you just feel really stupid.
Yeah, that'll humble you.
Just as soon as it gets out of your mouth, you're like, okay, I guess he just died of cancer. I don't think you can die of a broken heart. I think you can be sad over a broken heart.
Well, I mean, what about elderly couples that one of them passes away and then the next one dies immediately?
I don't know how that works. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't really know how that works. I don't have an explanation for that. Could be. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can die of a broken heart. I think.
But can you die of horniness? Probably not.
Probably not.
Weird saying that out loud.
It's a weird word.
I feel like I'm saying a bad word.
I don't like that word.
I don't think I'm saying anything bad. I think you're allowed to say that.
No, it's a real word, but I don't like that word. Like when people say I'm horny, it doesn't sound. It sounds weird to me. Even if your wife said that to you, would that sound weird to you?
Just like that?
Yeah, just like if you were just standing in the kitchen making spaghetti and she was like, I'm horny. It's just a weird thing.
It ain't that bad.
It just doesn't. It doesn't.
I think if
sound
I
right.
said it, she'd punch me in the face. But
it just doesn't sound right. Like I would appreciate that my wife is, but I wouldn't. I don't need to hear that. I don't like the word.
That's fair. I think that's.
I saw on Keeping Up with the Kardashians one time. They asked Kim. They said, "So why did you make a sex tape with Ray J?"
Mm-hmm.
She said that. They asked her that. You know what she said? She had an answer. You know what she said? Swear to God.
That was horny.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Literally, that's the quote. I was horny and also on ecstasy, but mostly horny, perhaps because of the ecstasy. Combination, maybe.
Was she really on ecstasy during that? Is it?
Oh, buddy, yeah.
Really?
Dude. Yes. You can see it on her face.
I wouldn't have known.
I don't mean that. I mean, she has ecstasy face.
Oh, I got you. She was in ecstasy.
No, like you can see it on people's face. It's
Can you?
Oh yeah.
The pupils dilate.
Well, it's just it's like cocaine jaw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Push calls it Bobby Brown jaw. But yeah, you ever talking to somebody in a bar and they're like.
Yes, I've seen that person quite. Yes, not quite a bit, but I've been around that person before.
That's cocaine jaw, right?
Yes, I'm familiar.
And Kim had ecstasy face. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. Horniness is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can die from it.
Okay.
And therefore, Casey Musgraves should be less concerned. But there is a real problem for her. She's explained this before. Here's what she said. Tell me what you think of this. She was in a real relationship, proper relationship. And then she says, I don't want to just go out. I have real desires, but I don't just want to go out there hooking up with just random people. I have real desires, like I would like to, but I don't like the idea of just like random people out there being like, yeah, I banged Casey Musgraves Tuesday night. I have real desires, but I don't want I can't just go have a one-night stand with somebody without them spending the rest of their life talking about it. Yeah. Casey Musgraves did this one night, and I just don't want to live like that. So
that makes sense.
So now she's at risk of dying of horniness, at least in her own mind.
That actually makes a lot of sense to me.
I heard Cardi B talk about the same thing. She's like, I just can't go hook up with random people. It turns out she can. She does. But she said that one time. The hardest thing about splitting up with Offset is that you can't, if you're that famous, you don't know what anybody's motives are. You don't know what kind of stories you're giving people. You don't know who you can trust. It gets complicated. You think you want to be a Cardi B or a Casey Musgraves. Sounds fun up until you have to re-enter the dating world, Bennett. That's what I gather.
I'm sorry. Someone told me that Showbo's fired their coach.
Oh, my God.
I was trying to find it on here.
If we have reached the point where I can't keep you more interested,
I care.
If we've reached the point,
how much I care. I've been trying to.
This is a learning experience for me. If I can't keep you interested enough to where you're scrolling intensely looking for Showboat's news, that probably means it's time to move on.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on.
Next story.
Jesus Lord.
Yeah.
Number 4.
The Memphis Showboats. We're not going to do that.
We're not talking about
Sorry.
Showboats. Until they get 70 people at a game, we're not going to talk about
Ken
the Showboats.
Wisenhunt has stepped down as head coach of the Memphis Showboats.
We lost Taylor and Ken.
Yeah.
Can you believe we lost Taylor and Ken?
Jim Turner will serve as the interim head coach going for the rest of this season.
Well, I hope he knows how to draw up an inbounds play.
Showboats are 0-3.
Yeah.
It's from Jonah Dillon.
I think I heard that.
Tough season.
Juan Soto.
Yes.
Met with the media yesterday in advance of the Mets games against the Twins, and you know what he said? He was asked because he's off to a little bit of a slower start this season, although he did homer last night, off to a little bit of a slower start this season than he was last season. And you know what he said?
What? He's blaming the ballpark, isn't he?
No.
Okay.
But he did say this. This is what he said. Well, it's obviously different. Last year playing with the Yankees, this year playing with the Mets. And the difference is, like last year with the Yankees, I had the best hitter in the world behind me, hitting behind me. And so I was just getting attacked more. Pitchers had to pitch to me because they don't want to pitch to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pitching to me. And now I don't have that. And so it's different. This is one of those things where he's 100% right. Like having Aaron Judge behind you changes the way people pitch to you.
Mm-hmm.
But like, can you say that?
I don't think you can say that.
When Pete Alonso's hitting behind you? Like, when Pete Alonso hears that, what does he think? Because here's what you're saying. Well, yeah, because it's like, oh yeah, it's just different. Last year I had Aaron Judge hitting behind me. It's Aaron Judge. And now it's just Pete Alonso, and it's different, Now I'm not seeing as many pitches to hit because if they put me on base, like they'll pitch to Pete Alonso. But the last thing you want to do is put me on base, and then Aaron Judge is coming up. So you pitch to me, and you let me do what I'm going to do because at least you don't want to put me on with Aaron Judge coming up behind me, so you got to pitch to me. Well, it's Pete Alonso behind me. Not quite the same thing. So I'm not seeing as many good pitches to hit, and that's the explanation.
That's that.
I just don't. He's right. It's true. But you can't say that, can you?
I don't think so.
Then Pete Alonso comes up last night, homers first at bat.
Of course he does.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just one of those things you never want to hear one of your teammates say it was better when this other guy I used to play with was hitting behind me, and now I've got this other guy hitting behind me, and it's just not the same. You just don't want to hear that. I didn't like it. It just creates bad vibes you don't need to have. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
I can respect the truth, but sometimes keep the truth to yourself.
Yeah. Speaking of baseball, can I get your login for the thing?
Of course, Bennett.
I don't want to pay to watch my team.
Yeah. I think I've given you the login before.
I know I couldn't get in the other day.
Oh.
I couldn't get in the other day.
Okay, I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it.
I don't want to pay to watch my team this year. They suck.
I have so many.
I want to watch them for free.
I have so many friends and relatives who have my subscriptions to everything.
Me too, as do I. If you need a subscription.
I think I have them all.
I think you do too. See, I like to trade,
Yeah, but I think I have everything.
I know you do.
What do you think you have that I might not have?
You should get rid of something and let me reciprocate. Like, probably not Netflix. You need your own Netflix.
I need my own Netflix.
You need your own Netflix. And you got Paramount.
I got Netflix, I got Paramount, I got Hulu.
On Paramount. But Peacock? Could I interest you in Peacock?
I have Peacock. Let's see if you can name one that I don't have.
You have the Disney Plus bundle, I'm sure, with ESPN Plus and Hulu and all that. Of course. You got Apple?
Yes, of course.
You could cancel your Apple. I could give you my Apple.
I need to have my own Apple. I mean, you can't go through life without your own Apple. That's crazy. That's a crazy way to live.
I think that's it.
I think I have everything. I have Major League Baseball, NBA, Sunday Ticket, Major League Soccer.
Dude, that's insane.
I did have it.
I can't believe you still have that.
WNBA. I got WNBA.
Oh, that'll come in handy.
Yeah. I just like having the app on my phone. It made me feel equal opportunity.
No, you're a part of it.
It made me feel like I was an equal opportunity. You know?
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can find a service that you don't have that I could, so we could.
Hey, do you have DAZN?
That's the boxing, right? Yeah.
I had it, but I canceled it. It's the one they actually canceled because I felt like they were getting over on me.
Because there's just, what are you getting? You need that once a year?
When I signed up for it, it was like, you'll get every Canelo fight. And it was like $100. And I was like, well, if I'm going to watch 2 Canelo fights a year.
That pays for itself.
That pays for itself. And then it was like, no, we changed that. Now you got to pay for the Canelo fights.
No.
And I was like, come on.
No. We're not doing that.
You got to have you got a principle somewhere, right?
We're not doing that.
So I was like Tennessee, and they were like Nico. I said, all right, now you're changing. I thought we had an agreement, but now you're trying to change the rules. You have to go. I sent DAZN. Oh, but if you ever subscribe to DAZN, just know that I don't have that. You can give that to me.
Okay, let me look into it. Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Number 5.
Talked about it with Vernon briefly. Bob Rotella, the sports psychologist, who used to be here in Memphis all the time. He worked with Cal and worked with the Tigers. He was at the Finch Center. Like, this is Cal's buddy from years ago.
I wonder what he thinks about semen retention.
We could text him. We should ask him.
Probably not. Not a good idea.
He's Roy McIlroy's mental health coach, let's say, or just sports psychologist. And obviously it became a big story on Sunday because Bryson made it a big story. He said, because they were like, what did Rory say to you today? He's like, absolutely nothing. Did not talk to me one time. And seemed bothered by it. Like, seemed bothered, like he doesn't like me or he was being a jerk or something, but the vibes were off. Like, I was happy for him, and I would have been happy to make this a real experience between the two of us. But he just very clearly from the jump, he didn't want to talk, and we did not talk. We spent 4 hours walking around together, but did not talk. So Bob Rotella, who was with Rory all week at the Masters, spoke about this yesterday on a podcast. You know what he said? Intentional, by design. It was something we talked about. And the logic behind it was, you start talking to Bryson, you start paying attention to Bryson. You start looking at leaderboards, you start paying attention to leaderboards. You start listening to roars, you start wondering, what are these roars about? Let's block out everything, starting with the guy you're playing with. Right now, you have a multi-shot lead heading into the final round of the Masters. This tournament that will define your career on some level. You are always going to be somebody at this point who gets a career Grand Slam, or always going to be somebody who blew it. Yeah. That's where we're at. Yeah. There's no in between anymore. You have a multi-shot lead heading into the final round at the Masters. You're about to win the career Grand Slam, or you're about to blow it. Focus on you. As long as you play to your abilities, nothing else that happens out there will matter to you. You're the best player in the world. You've got a comfortable lead. If you play the way you're capable of playing, nothing else matters. So let's not look at anything else. I get the mindset, and it clearly worked because
he won.
He got the jacket. I don't know that I agree with it completely. I do think sometimes other things matter on the course, in a golf course. Like even when me and Vernon play yesterday, like there was moments where he will do something different than what he otherwise would do based on what just happened to me. You know, if I take a drive and put it into a roof, you might be a little more careful about, let me just get this ball in play.
Yeah.
All right? Like that there is a strategy to it.
Right.
So I don't know that I agree with the sentiment, but I do understand it, and it clearly worked. And just a reminder that all sports to some degree are mental, but golf especially. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the guy who ends up winning the Masters, who is one of the best players in the world, like found value in having that guy with him every day. I need to talk to you every day about what I'm doing. Think about that.
Yep.
You're so gifted and so talented and arguably the best in the world at this thing, and you don't think you can, and it's a solo sport, but you don't think you can do it by yourself. You need this guy to talk to.
Right.
You need this guy to bounce things off of. I'm just fascinated by that you would commit to it in that way. And again, it clearly works. Bob Rotella's comments, you can find them. Just Google his name and Roy McIlroy. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Debo traded from San Francisco to the Commanders for a 5th round pick. There's no other sport where you would get a player of his ilk for a 5th round pick.
Over under total yards for Debo. If they set it at 1,000, you think he hits that over?
Total yards?
Total yards from scrimmage. Total yards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
I need cameras to capture every waking moment between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on the same team. The pregame prayers will be generational.
Because that's preacher and a deacon. That's what we're talking about here. That prayer is going to be 40 minutes. We're going to miss the anthem.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff. That was a weird amount of time to just be on camera like that. Whole bunch of stuff. But the main thing is the Grizzlies squandered an opportunity last night in San Francisco. One possession game in the final seconds. Just got to inbound the ball and get a shot off. They did neither. More specifically, didn't do the first. 5-second call on Santi Aldama. He claimed after the fact that he thought it was a quick 5. Then somebody went and, we all have devices on our phone. You can stopwatches. You can time it. It's not hard to do. It was right there in HD, and then we all have the stopwatch on our phone. Turns out it was closer to 6 seconds than 5. So closer to a long 5 than a short 5. In fact, it was above 5, even above 6. So, opportunity squandered. It's a loss in Game 83, and now we get Game 84 Friday night inside FedEx Forum. It'll be either the Mavericks or the Kings. It'll be the winner of tonight's game between the Mavericks and the Kings. The Grizzlies presumably would be favored in that game, but might have to wait for a status report to see how John Morant's ankle is feeling after he had to leave the game, at least temporarily last night, landing awkwardly. More questions than answers right now, but maybe this time tomorrow we'll have a few more answers.
What's today's biggest game?
Let's go Western Conference playoffs.
Okay.
9 o'clock on ESPN, Mavericks and Kings inside the Golden One Center. Who do you want to play?
Who do I want to play? I have kind of toggled back and forth with this.
Have you?
I was asked last night on the post
I don't think I thought about it even once.
On the double post, and I said, I think that I would rather play the Kings just because Anthony Davis has cooked us a lot in his career, and he will likely be playing in that game. Dallas does have lack of guard play, evidence being they traded like one of the greatest guards. If you consider Luka a guard, I would. They traded him.
They traded one of the best players in the world.
Yeah. So they're obviously lacking in that department a little bit. But Sacramento, they beat us there not that long ago. Zach LaVine's been really good against us too. I think I would rather probably play Sacramento.
I think I'd rather play the Mavericks because their heart has been ripped out.
Okay, but again, Anthony Davis has been good against us. And man, that if they win tonight, they want nothing more than to give their fan base anything to feel positive about.
I think we're past that stage. I think their heart's ripped out.
So you think that
there's no salvaging anything
Anthony Davis leading them into the postseason doesn't make that fan base go, okay, AD is a great player.
No,
okay.
Because then they're going to watch you get swept by the Thunder.
And be like, we're not even close.
And while Luka and LeBron are advancing in the Western Conference playoffs.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing salvageable there. There's no Mavericks fan that's going to be moved by Anthony Davis taking them to the 8th seed. Their heart's gone. I'd rather play a team with no heart. Truth is, I think we're going to play a team with... I mean, they suck too, but... I mean, it's like one team traded their best player, the other team fired their coach.
Right.
And they're playing tonight for the right to play another team that fired his coach. That's where we're at. Just pick it. Sacramento minus 4.5. Just pick this. I'm ready to go home.
Is it? Okay, I'll just take them.
You're just going to take them?
Well, I don't want to... Last night, I second-guessed myself and screwed up. Atlanta got blasted. Trae Young got himself ejected because he was so pissed off at the whole situation. So
that's right.
I'll take the Kings. That's fine.
Kings minus 4.5.
Sure.
That's what Big Bet Bennett says to do.
I have no conviction.
All right. All right.
What are we watching on TV?
Brand new episode 5 of The Studio has dropped on Apple TV Plus. Those episodes come out Wednesday. I like a good Wednesday release.
How long is that show? 30 minutes?
About 30 to 40 minutes.
I haven't started it yet, and I'm glad because now I got something I can binge.
You have an Apple subscription.
Uh-huh.
It's great.
I'm actually thinking about, now that I'm already here, I'm just going to wait till this whole season is done. That way I can just have a nice, a week when it's kind of dead, I can just binge that
It's easy to watch. It's
Yeah.
funny. It's smart. It's great. It's really good. Every episode, you don't know this as you're experiencing it, but you can sort of pick up on it. Now we're 4 episodes in. Today is episode 5. Every episode is not necessarily the story goes here and then the story continues.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's Seth Rogen running a studio and he has it's almost like a Curb Your Enthusiasm, uncomfortable situation.
I got you.
And that all happens in this episode. And then he's got another uncomfortable situation that he's dealing with in the next episode. And then in episode 3 is a totally different. The only common thread is the people surrounding him, and he is in an uncomfortable situation in part one that he's created. But it's just really good. The second episode, another thing you don't realize is happening until you go, oh, wow, okay, I see what they're doing here. They sort of set it up by talking about this. It's called a oneer, I think. It's like a one shot in a film. The most famous one is probably Goodfellas, walking through the kitchen.
Gotcha.
And it's just one camera, and you follow this scene wherever it takes you. And they're talking about how beautiful that is and how much they love that. And then as you're watching, it's episode 2, unfold, what you realize is the whole episode is a oneer. The entire episode, 40-minute episode, is one shot. And they went back after you realize, okay, they're sort of setting it up by talking about a oneer, and then the whole episode is actually the thing that they're talking about. It's like this subtle little nerdy film thing that they did. And so they go and they say, okay, so that's 40 minutes of you got to hit every shot. Everybody's got to hit every word. And what happens when somebody messes up? Start over at the very beginning. So think about that. How nervous you must be. You get 35 minutes into this and your line's next. And if I mess this up, we have to start all over. It's a reset.
That's pretty good.
It's a reset to 35 minutes ago. It's not just like cut, all right, let's do this scene again. It's cut, start over. Cut, start over. Like just incredibly stressful, but it's neat that they pulled it off and it's gotten the attention that it deserves.
That's cool.
If you're looking for a new show to watch, that's a good one. The Studio, Apple TV Plus, starring Seth Rogen.
What's the best thing we've read?
Well, whether it's Drew Hill, DeMichael Cole, everybody was documenting Grizzlies and Warriors last night. So support local journalism. Read your Grizzlies coverage, grindcitymedia.com as well. And then let's come back here tomorrow and start focusing on the Kings or the Mavericks, whichever one happens to prevail tonight. And let's talk ourselves into how you're going to win on Friday night and then try to make it a fun, at least interesting series against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I like that plan.
We're going to cheer ourselves up by tomorrow.
Yeah, I need a break.
But we needed a day.
Yeah.
We needed a day to go through what we're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow will be Thursday. Mike Wallace will join me, senior editor, Grind City Media. He'll help us get ready. What are you laughing at?
I heard his call with Eric. He was on the radio call with Eric last night, and it's just painful that inbounds play or lack of inbounds play. The 5-second call. Oh, it's so.
It's just a roller coaster of emotions. It's like
gosh.
You spend all day long excited for this game, then it starts. You can't get a stop, and Steph's bombing on you, and now you're down 20.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I waited all day for this, and now here we are. This is why 90% of the ESPN people picked the Warriors.
Yep.
And this is why Ramona didn't know what she was doing. Here we are. Then they bring you back in. Oh, okay, let's stay up. Okay.
And they're fired up, like on the broadcast.
Okay,
right?
let's do this. Okay, let's go. Stay up to midnight. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then what? You can't even get a ball in bounds? What?
Brutal.
It was brutal. All right. Well, hopefully things go better tomorrow.
I hope so.
All right. I'll be here. No more semen talk, okay?
No, we're done with that.
I think we're done with that.
Yeah.
Either by choice or...
Yeah, we're going to get a good talking to after that one.
One way or another. I'm pretty sure we're done with that. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll try to enjoy mine. Meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.